Okay. Well,
Look, everyone.
I'm just going to actually log into Facebook and just check that we're coming out as well on Facebook.
Are we broadcast now? Yes, I think we are.
Exciting.
Hello, everyone. We'll just wait for everybody to come in now. Just to let you know that.
Okay, I'm going to come over to you guys in
Facebook. If you could look in the bottom of your screens, you will see a little chat function. Please do introduce yourselves, say where you're watching this from, and then if you've got any questions, pop it in the Q&A function. I'm going to be in the background looking at your comments and questions, and I'll be feeding it to Hannah. But you'll watch here now, and then I'll let Hannah get on with it.
I can't hear you.
Hello, thank you, Ines. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're here as part of Organise 2020. We're going to be talking about Tolpuddle 2020, Tolpuddle Martyrs Festival, which is next weekend. I'm very happy to be joined by Nigel Costley, the South West TUC Secretary, and the brilliant Billy Bragg. So firstly, I know we have a little film for people who haven't managed to make it to Tolpuddle Festival yet. Over to Nigel with that.
Yes, thank you. This is a short little clip to show people who haven't had the pleasure of coming to Tolpuddle a little bit of flavour of what it's like.
People fought for trade unions, they fought for the right to vote, and if that was worth fighting for then it's worth fighting for now.
The good thing about Tolpuddle Festival is that there's something for everybody.
This is the spirit, this is the heart and soul of the trade union movement.
Tolpuddle is just the landmark of my life.
This is a night out for us. This is just a brilliant night of celebration.
It's a chance for all of us to recharge our batteries, to debate politically, but also to have a drink with good friends, enjoy ourselves and get ready for the fight ahead.
It's quite moving, isn't it, that you think these people were here, this is where history happened, and then you're stood on the same side. I think it's got a bigger place in society than ever. I think we need more things like this, and, because everyone's got this common interest, and it's great that you can talk to people who have the same passions that you do.
We don't just look back in history and celebrate the history, but it's an occasion for us to reevaluate where do we go from here. If we don't organise now, all of those things that all of those people who went before us fought so hard for will go.
It's really the best sort of like political festival, I think, in the UK. It's outside of London. It's not about our industrial heritage, it's about our rural heritage, and it's only about 30 minutes from where I live. So all those together.
It's a celebration of everything that we, as a class can fight for and can move towards. And that should involve dancing and singing and laughing and joking. And that should be central to it.
Everyone comes for a different reason. You've got the political side of it, you've got the festival side, the music, and obviously now the family. And every year we've got more and more family coming. I think there's about 20 relatives here at the moment.
When you come and you see all these people, so many old friends, so many trade union banners, speeches, it's an inspiration to the movement. A lot of people wonder whether you can succeed, and then you look back on the Tolpuddle Martyrs and the sacrifice they made for what they believed in, and then people say, well, if they could do it, we can do it. So it gives people hope.
No, they can't break the oath of a Tolpuddle man.
That's lovely. Thank you so much, Nigel. That's a really good little introduction to an event which is so dear to many of us and new to so many others. So if you could tell me a bit more detail about what the festival is actually about.
Well, it's great to remember the great Tony Benn there. He was always passionate about linking history with today's struggles, and that's what the festival is about. It is to commemorate, to remember the 6 Tolpuddle Martyrs farm workers who were dared to form a union in 1834 and were stitched up for it. The unions were legal at the time. They thought that they were doing something that was perfectly legal, and found themselves quickly arrested and for taking a secret oath in the formation of the union. And it was a challenge that the fledgling unions knew they had to confront. And so what we celebrate is the first mass mobilization of the early trade unions, which brought 100,000 or more people onto the streets of London in protests, hundreds of thousands of people signing massive petitions, legal arguments in Parliament. And eventually the government was forced to back down, and on a very rare occasion, they were not just given free pardons, but they were brought back by the state in triumph. So it's one of the earliest episodes in the formation of trade unionism. It's not the very start, but it's a moment that we celebrate because it does establish the right of people to organise. And still today, people, when they're forming a union, they have to do it quietly, often secretly from the employer, for fear of being picked off. So you have to gather your strength first, which is exactly what the Tolpuddle Martyrs do. So there is real echoes to today in Britain, but of course there are still people being imprisoned, even killed for joining a trade union around the world. So this is an international story, as well as one that we should be proud of here in Britain.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who's joined us again. It's sunny outside, but we really appreciate you being here, and for all your comments in the chat. Please do introduce yourselves. It's great to know that we're reaching people from all different unions, all different places. Over to Billy. Can you tell us a bit about the role of music in the festival and how you got involved in the festival?
Well, as I hinted in the film there, it's kind of like my local festival. I live about half hour away in Dorset. And since we first started coming down here as a family in the 1990s, it's been part of our summer. It's a really different kind of festival. You know, very often I find myself playing in some, you know, football stadium or arena somewhere where there's a huge security operation going on, and the distance between the audience and the stage is massive. The great thing about Tolpuddle is everything is cheek by jowl. There isn't really a kind of backstage, and if there is a backstage, it's full of union people who have just been up to speak. So it has a real different flavour. It's really, I suppose, really a rally. I suppose a rally with music and a mixture of that and a kind of sort of left-wing garden party, if you like, because you've got the little site there. It's not a huge site, and it's kind of it's linear. It's kind of laid out that way rather than, you know, like a shoebox, like you would in an arena. So to walk around it, you're in among people all the time, and I really, really love that. And for people in this part of the world, and by that I mean in the Southwest, it's a really crucial opportunity to express our political beliefs, because obviously, you know, the Durham Miners Gala is brilliant. I've played there many times, but it's in a staunch Labour area. I mean, where I live in West Dorset, the Conservative Party have had the MP here since 1886. And, you know, just up the road in South Dorset where Tolpuddle is, it's not that much different. So we, you know, to have somewhere like Tolpuddle to come to, if you're a trade unionist, if you're a Labour supporter, if you're progressive, it's really a great opportunity to come and to hang out. And it's really, you know, it's not an expensive weekend. You can get camping, you can get parking. It's a celebration of the culture of solidarity, you know, because solidarity isn't only about politics. There's an emotional solidarity that you can get from standing together, singing together in a cause, listening to a speaker, responding to that speaker together. You get a sense that you're not alone. You know, you may work in a place where there's sexism, where there's racism, an environment where there's hostility towards your beliefs, and you may feel that you're alone, but you can come to a place like Tolpuddle and recharge your activism. And that's really, really crucial, because we, you know, the politics that we believe in are fundamentally at the bottom are about empathy, about thinking of other people. And that aspect of what the Tolpuddle Martyrs were trying to do kind of shines down through the years. And for someone like me, who works in the music industry, the currency of what we do in the music industry is empathy. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make you feel, as the listener, either feelings for someone you don't know and in a situation you've never yourself experienced, to feel empathy for that. Or the other way around, the songs that we sing give you a sense that other people feel empathy towards you, that you are not alone. You know, that's our currency, whether it's political music or any other kind. But the crucial thing is, when you take that empathy and you mix it with activism, you get solidarity. And so that's what Tolpuddle is really all about. It's about allowing us to come together to express our solidarity with one another through song and through debates, and then to go away with our activism recharged. And for those of us, I say, who live in a Tory-dominated South, that's a really crucial experience. And it also, I think, it gives us an opportunity to show that even in the rural areas, there is radical politics, because too often the cutting edge of radical politics is very contemporary, very, very urban, but that the roots of it are deep in our countryside as well. And it's the people here are just as radical, they just don't have the opportunity to express that. And Tolpuddle gives them a chance to come together and march with all their banners and their music through this lovely little village. Thank heavens they built that bypass, because beforehand it was a bit of a palaver having to close the main road through Dorset. Had to be closed for the festival. It wasn't very popular. But since they built the bypass, it's kind of like, you know, the red flag flies over Dorset for a day, and I see people there, you know, who I see in the town who I don't even know, people who share my ideals, and I suddenly see them at Tolpuddle, and I realise it's a different kind of place.
That's great. It really is a family event, and I think the people who are there almost become your family for the weekend. It's such
in my case, particularly in my case, sorry to interrupt you, Hannah, but particularly in my case, because I have a group of fans who refer to themselves as the Saddos. They're a Facebook group, and they're really supportive of one another when they go through life's problems. I love them to bits. They come to Tolpuddle every year and camp and bring their own sort of like little camp space, whether or not I'm there, because I don't play every year. You know, it's not really me they're coming to see. They're coming to see each other. They're coming to see the event. They're coming to be part of something that's both empowering but not overpowering, if you know what I mean. You know, what we do at Left Field at Glastonbury is similar to what Tolpuddle does, but we're kind of one stage among, you know, hundreds at Glasgow, and we get drowned out by other things. But at Tolpuddle, it's there, it's all in front of you, and it's all walkable. You know, if you lose your mate, you're going to bump into him in 10 minutes. It's a great way to be at a festival.
Thank you, brilliant. And obviously it's a family event that has focused on music, culture and heritage. And why do you think music, culture and heritage are so important to the left?
Well, because I think when we face up to challenges, it's good to know that we're not the first people who've been involved in this struggle. There's something about understanding your history that gives you inspiration, the struggles that other people have gone through. You know, I was politicized by Rock Against Racism. That's the thing that brought me into politics. And I see that a lot reflected now in Black Lives Matter. But my role in that is to kind of talk to young people who are getting involved in that and saying, yeah, we did this when we were faced up against this, but this is different now. This is a different time, but I'm here to be part of that. And obviously with Tolpuddle, that goes back, well, you know, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 generations. And as you saw in the film, there are members of the families, the descendants of the Tolpuddle Martyrs themselves, who come every year and gather in because one of the things we do there, you saw it on the film, is we lay memorial wreaths at the graves of the martyrs who came back to the village, who are buried in the village churchyard. And that aspect of it, that connection with their struggle, with our struggle, I think is really crucial, because, you know, each generation has to find a way to deal with these issues. And we're finding that now with Black Lives Matter, but that doesn't mean that they begin from a blank sheet. You know, there's a tradition in this country of dissent, and it's as strong a tradition as the tradition of kings and queens and generals. And Tolpuddle is one of the key moments in that struggle, and that's why we get together to celebrate it, to remind ourselves of that tradition of dissent.
Thank you. And as you've said, there's lots of people who come to Tolpuddle Festival every year and who love it and wouldn't go without it. What would you say to people who haven't been before, who think how far in the country it is? What one thing would you say to encourage them to go?
Well, I'd say, you know, it's not like going to Reading Festival, you know, where everything's kind of just, you know, beer and blasting sound. It's much more of a sense of a community event, you know, and that you're in this kind of beautiful valley, this lovely village. When the weather's nice, it's just like heaven there. And there's some incredibly radical politics. People get very, very excited when the band march and the banners are waving through the village. There's not many places where we still get to do that. So if you want to experience that, not just come to an event where you come and watch a band, but an event where there's stuff going on all day, you can engage in different ways, a number of different levels. And then if it all gets a bit too much on the march, you can just go in one of the pubs in the village and have a pint and then catch the march on the way back again and march back to the site. So, you know, if you can do all that, there's not many festivals where that happens. Most of the festivals, you're penned up in somewhere and you're on site and they've got you. Whereas at Tolpuddle, it's kind of like the flow of the day is much more conducive to connecting with people. So I would recommend you come along and join in.
Brilliant, thank you. It is very relaxed to be there as well if you're not in the throng of it, and it's very easy not to be in the throng of it as well. So obviously this year we're doing Tolpuddle very differently, under very sad, difficult circumstances, but we're definitely making the best of it. We've got some amazing things planned, and one of the things we're really hoping to come from this year is that we're going to be able to reach more people, have more people involved. We want to turn a festival which is already so popular in the Southwest nationally and internationally into something that really has a good reach. So this is nearly the end of us speaking. I'd like to thank everyone so much for joining us. Please do join us next weekend with everything we've got going on. Thank you very much, Billy, for being a supporter of everything and for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Nigel, thank you. If you could have a last few words about what we can look forward to next weekend.
Yeah, well, we've tried hard to echo what Billy has so eloquently described, this sort of community event. People come not for any particular band, even dare I say it, Billy, but
true. No, it's absolutely true.
They come and they are surprised. They go away, being really filled with enthusiasm for a particular act or a particular discussion. And it's so diverse. You can go in one tent and have a discussion about education and come out and have a drink and then go and have some music. So we're trying to do that as best we can online. And we think we're in for an exciting weekend, starting from the Friday. There'll be lots of discussion groups. Have a look at the website if you haven't already, to pick and choose. If you want to join a particular discussion, you can join by Zoom. From the radical history sessions to sessions on human rights with Chami Chakrabarti, trade deals, building back better in terms of the recovery from this crisis. Black Lives Matter, of course, will play an important part in the future of education. There's lots of discussions you can join. Some of those we will be streaming on our Facebook and YouTube channels as well. But if you really want to take part, then register to join. There's going to be some amazing music, not just Billy, of course, to close the main stage on the Sunday, but in some ways, because we're doing it online and because we've asked for very short sets, we can pack a lot more in. There isn't the sound checks and the turnover on the stage. You'll get lots of different types of music. I think we're up to about 50 different artists over the course of the weekend. We've got a kids area. We didn't think we would do that, but the Woodcraft Folk and sponsored by the NSWT have come together a whole package of activities with a slant to us in terms of the trade union movement. So while you're in a debate talking about the recovery, the kids can be making banners or doing some storytelling or learning how to make music online. We've got films. There's 10 films showing over the weekend, thanks to the Radical Film Festival, from The Grapes of Wrath to The Story of Wapping to documentaries about the NHS. Check those out. And then we've got some great speakers on the Sunday. Francis O'Grady, We've got some General Secretary speaking, Angela Rayner from the Labour Party, and we're hoping for some surprises as well for that. And in amongst all of this, instead of going to the commercial break for an advert, you will get little 2 minutes of campaigns, just as you do in real life. You go in the marquee and you get this whole bunch of different radical campaigns all selling their particular messages. So these will be popping up throughout, and there will be, we don't want people going to the village. The village were alarmed, as you can expect, about the idea of thousands of trade unionists and the risk to the infection. So we've assured them that that's not what we're doing. But there will be a very discreet village-only wreath laying, and for once, I think this is going to be a very moving moment, because the great granddaughter of James Hammett, the person that's buried in the church, will tell his story, which is a story of a lot of working people in those years. And then the virtual march. Yes, we want you all to post a picture of your trade union banner, or maybe the one that your kids have just made for the purpose. We've got the artist Bob and Roberta Smith has made some placards. He's been walking up and down his street in London with it. So hopefully this will be quite an inspiring moment as thousands of people take part in this march online. It's the best we can do, but I think it's going to be really quite an inspiring and moving event.
Can I just say a quick word, Anna?
Please do, yeah.
I wasn't supposed to be playing Tolpuddle this weekend. I was supposed to be in America at the Democratic Convention, stirring up trouble there. I was hoping to be there when Bernie Sanders went for the nomination. This wasn't to be, but nor was the convention to be, nor was my American tour. And I'm not alone. Of all the businesses that are going to get back after the coronavirus, probably my industry, my people are going to be the last in. And I'd like to ask the trade union movement to reach out to musicians, to stagehands, to offer them support to venues by putting on events, by inviting them into play, by giving them a platform and trying to help to keep them going. What Tolpuddle does is puts a big banner up in Dorset saying, there is a trade union movement. You could join it, be part of it, come and hear this great music, come and be part of this great event. And it would be brilliant if the movement could do some more of that in the coming months to support musicians through this very, very difficult time, and those putting on theatre and the whole of the arts through these very, very difficult times, until we get to a situation where our audience feel confident once again to come and see us perform. So thank you for your support so far with Tolpuddle, Nigel. It's been really much appreciated.
And thanks for all your support, Billy, and also to reassure people, we are not asking any musicians to pay for free, as a lot of online festivals and real festivals expect. They're professionals, they're workers, they deserve to be paid for their work. So it's a cost. Please donate when you, to the festival to make this happen, but we're not expecting anyone to work for nothing.
Buy your t-shirts now on the Tolpuddle online shop, ready for next weekend. Thank you very much again. Thank you so much. And I believe we have a video that you're going to finish this off with, Nigel. So thanks to everyone. See you next weekend. Have a good sunny day.
Thanks. Bye.